people just don't get it in the NFL how big Jalen Hunt and Jordan Davis are going to be in these playoffs. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, but here, are you guys ready for the run? Are you ready for back-to-back championships? Because I am, and I think it starts this weekend. The Eagles have as good of a chance as any team I've seen in a long time at repeating. One of the main reasons, I'm just going to say it, is because I think these playoffs are wide open. I don't know if there's somebody that is so much better than anybody else. And I do believe, I'm going to say this off the bat, I believe the Super Bowl champion comes out of the NFC. But the Eagles, they've got a tough game versus San Francisco 49ers. Do not think, just because the 49ers have no linebackers and they're hurt and they're beat up, don't think that this isn't going to be a fight. It is. Every round will be a fight. But I believe what gives the Eagles the advantage that nobody's talking about, I think it's the fact that they're champions, that they've done it. I don't think you can dismiss that easily, okay? Now, I don't want to talk a lot about off-season things right now because we're focusing on the playoffs. You know, let those in Cancun, like the Cowboys, worry about that. But I do want to mention this because I do think this was an interesting release yesterday that I think you should keep an eye on if you're the Eagles, okay? Washington let go of their offensive coordinator, Kingsbury. Cliff Kingsbury is gone. He's gone. I'm a little surprised by that. I really am because, let's face it, I mean, his quarterback was hurt most of the year. But he's gone, and they're saying he's going to most likely go out and try to get a head coaching job. My thought is this. If he doesn't get the head coaching job, he's obviously going to be somebody's offensive coordinator. I think the Eagles should consider him. The only reason that you might not is because you only think he comes in for 1 year then goes. But if you can get 2 years out of him, I would probably do it, okay? They need an offensive coordinator regardless of what happens in the playoffs. To me, unless they start putting up 40-some points a game, I think you got to make the change even if you win the Super Bowl, okay? You know, there's also talk that Clint Hurt may be pursued by the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Eagles got to pay him extra money and keep him. You find a way to keep him, find a way to keep Christian Parker. Tell one of those guys that, hey, you're the eventual replacement for Vic Fangio, and we're going to keep you. But I don't want to lose those two guys. And with that, you know, that's about all the all-season stuff I want to talk about because we got playoffs. And I'm telling you, I'm going heavy with the Eagles this weekend. Playoff time is here. Real quick, Polymarket is the revolutionary prediction market everyone is absolutely obsessed with right now. Live and legal in all 50 states, 1-cent fees, instant trades, total control. You're trading against people and not the house. Now, if we check into the Polymarket app, we are going to see that the Eagles are getting a 69% chance to win. You know the Philly crowd is going to be loud, okay? So me, I'm loaded up big time on the birds. Yes, Philly's defense is nasty. Offense is clicking. That's who I'm taking. We got to go with the Eagles. No question about it. It's incredible. Everyone's going crazy over it. And the most awesome part, downloading the app with the link below and using my code Philly500 unlocks exclusive early access. Early access plus $10 completely free. No deposit, no card, nothing. Don't miss out and join the revolution. Shout out to Polymarket. We appreciate them so very much. I freaking love that app. I'm just telling you, I love it. Now, as far as the games go and how I kind of see the whole playoffs going on, I will do my preview prediction video on Friday. I'll tell you all the way I think it's going to play out. But I think most people, I don't think there's going to be any huge surprises in the NFC. I think the Rams will win. I think the Packers will lose. Everybody's saying Packers are going to upset the Bears, and it's possible. It's very hard to beat a divisional opponent 3 times. However, I just think they're so banged up. So I got the Rams winning, I got the Bears winning, and I got the Eagles winning. Now, that's going to set up the huge showdown for the Eagles in Chicago, and then you're going to have the Rams go to Seattle. I think the Rams will beat Seattle in Seattle, and the Eagles will beat the Bears in Chicago, and then you're going to have the NFC Championship game at home, Eagles, Rams, and that's kind of how I see it going. Hopefully Green Bay wins. I mean, that's the best case scenario. Hopefully Green Bay wins, and the Carolina win would be nice, but most likely be the Rams. If I have a choice, I much rather play the Rams in Philly than play the Bears in Chicago. Not because of cold weather or anything. We're good with all that. Just because I think playing at home is always important. I think Merrill Reese said the other day that 77% of the time the home team wins in the playoffs. That's huge. That is gigantic. Now, if you were with me last night during my stream of the Hard Knocks live reaction, thank you for joining me. But for those who haven't seen it yet, go watch that episode, because Jordan Davis, they did the whole section to him, and he's amazing. He is absolutely amazing. People talk about who do you sign, who do you give extension to. The Eagles cannot afford to lose Jordan Davis. You can tell by just how the team kind of listens to him, rallies around him. He's a leader. He's a leader on his team. He reminds me of Brandon Graham in a lot of ways. He's got a good personality. Everybody likes him. He brings energy. I mean, the guy's, he's doing toast. He's talking about how it took him a few years to figure it out, but now, he's just so motivated to get better and be better. He is only going to get better and better. And I think the key to the Eagles' defense going forward in the future is to keep Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis together. I think that's amazing if they can do that. And I also got to say, Jalix Hunt, shout out to Jalix Hunt, led the Eagles in interceptions and sacks. He has actually been better than Nolan Smith. He is. And to me, he is going to only get better. And I think this playoffs, especially against the 49ers, I think the two guys that are going to give the Niners fits is going to be Jordan Davis and Jalix Hunt. And part of the reason I say that about those two guys is because if you look at those two guys last year in the playoffs, they were phenomenal. I mean, arguably Jalix Hunt had almost the same amount of stats in the playoffs as Josh Sweat. Jordan Davis, this is where he really started to come on. I know I've said this before, but there was a moment in the NFC Championship game last year versus Washington where he gets a sack on Daniels. And you can just see him go to the sideline. First of all, he headbutts somebody without a helmet on, but you could see it clicked, like things were clicking. And I knew he would have a breakout year. I think those two guys are going to have an enormous playoff. And playing the 49ers, I think it's right up our alley, because if you can hit Purdy, if you can get to Purdy, you can get turnovers, you can rattle him. Now, he's good with his feet and stuff, but this is why I like Jalix Hunt and Jordan Davis. And I expect Jalen Carter to do great things, and Nakobe Dean should be back. That's a really good thing. But I'm telling you, the two guys that I think are going to be really impactful in this game this week and in the playoffs is going to be Jordan Davis and Jalix Hunt. Watch out for both those guys, because I'm telling you, I think they're both going to be excellent this year. Now, the Eagles, they will be on the practice field, I think, at 2 o'clock Eastern. The big news and what we're going to be worrying about and what we're all waiting to see is, where is Lane Johnson? Where is Lane Johnson in terms of being able to play? It sounds like this is not a sure thing. Brian Baldinger doesn't think he's going to play. Now, I think the Eagles will be fine if he doesn't play, although we are much better with Lane Johnson on the field than without. Okay, but I think the Niners, I think their pass rush, I think we can handle it. They don't get a ton of sacks. I think we'll be okay there. And they're without a lot of linebackers. So all eyes on Lane Johnson. Hopefully he can go, but I don't want Lane to go at 60%. You know, if he gets one more week rest and he's going to be that much better for it, then give it to him. But, you know, will Lane Johnson play? That's going to be the question. With that said, yeah, we're going to find out. We'll have videos coming all week. Should be fun. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. I know I talked about Davis and Hunt, and how I think they're going to be very, very impactful guys to watch. But I do want to say this. I think this is a Jalen Hurts game. I think Jalen Hurts has a monster game. Because, let's face it, it's the money ball time. It's money ball time. And that's when Jalen Hurts always shows up. Denzel Washington out. That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.